You're now listening to the most dangerous sound. Hosted by Lee Alexander the Great. You heard the verse, but this is the hook.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your boy, Lee Alexander the Great. Welcome to another episode of This is the Hook. We are on episode 13 of season 2. I think I'm about to do away with these seasons. I'm so, this is so sad. I'm so into movies. Like, I'm a movie buff. Like, some people watch like football, basketball, soccer, hockey. I'm a movie buff. Like, I know movies. I know movies. Like, I have more movies in my head than I have anything else. I can be honest with you. I can't remember, and I watched the last Super Bowl. I can't remember that. I literally can't. I remember watching it. I remember everything that went on, but if you asked me about a movie, I'm all in. And even inside of those movies, I can't really remember the people that were in those particular movies. Like, I don't have this thing where I can, like, you be like, oh, I know who this person was or who that person was, or I know their actual name. Like, I can be honest with you, I don't know those things, but I know that I'm a movie buff. Like, I love kung fu movies. Old school and new school. I like them both. I like old school for the choreography. I like the new school for some of the little things they do that just make it like outlandish. You know what I'm saying? Like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, where Lee Mubai was sitting on a tree and on a limb of a tree with his sword behind his back, just waving with the wind. Those type of things. I love those things, man. I love fantasy, you know. I do. I love, like, I didn't even get into, and I don't even know if that makes me an anime fan, but Vox Machina. I don't know if anybody that hears this knows about that, but it's an animated series that's on, I say Amazon because I don't know what Pacific program it's on, but I've been watching it and it's just, I enjoy it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I enjoy that. Like, it's really good. Like, it's comedy, it's action. There's romance in it in some form or fashion. I like it. You know what I mean? And I don't really get into anime like that, but I if that was anime, I like it. You know what I'm saying? I like that idea. Yeah, Vox Machina. And it looks like Vox Machina. that's when I first saw it, was like Vox Machina. What is Vox Machina? And then it turned out to be Vox Machina because they changed the word or whatever, but whatever. But that's a good show. Speaking of movies, this is all coming to a point, but I've got to mention this. The Woman King, or what is it? I forget the name of it. Is it Woman King? I think it is Woman King. It was I don't know if you've seen this movie, but I've heard a lot of bad reviews about this movie, and I understand those reviews. I understand the concept, and as we move along inside of this environment, I can understand why a person would constantly think like, yo, are you trying to delete the black man in general? Like, you did it inside of Black Panther. That was just terrible. That's just side note. This was a problem. Okay, the problem was with this particular concept, as far as the new Black Panther or the recent entrance into the Black Panther trilogy or whatever you want to call it. The problem is that in every other industry, Batman, Superman, not Iron Man, he didn't get nobody. Spider-Man, there were a lot of individuals who were superheroes, and when an individual was decided, or where there was a decision that person wasn't going to be that person anymore, they just put somebody else in there. They didn't kill off the person. They just put somebody else in there, and that person lived. They murdered this nigga. It was terrible. I'm sorry. I went, and the worst part about it is that I went to see it with my family in a movie theater of all places, and I dodged that shit like the plague. I don't want to go. The biggest thing, I'm about to show how cheap I am. The biggest thing about me going to the movies is how much stuff we can sneak into it. That's so sad. That's sad. Whatever. It sounds. I'm just like, listen, when I went and saw the last installment of Avengers, right? Me and my wife, we went in there. I had a whole foot-long cheesesteak with wings and fries. Like, I swear to God, the only reason I go to the movies is to see how much I can sneak into that movie theater. It has nothing to do with the movie. I'll pay for the movie, but I'll be damned if I pay for that food. I'm sorry. All right, look, that is what it is. There's a part of me that is just completely hood, and I am not on that. I'm coming in there with Wingstop, or I gotta have a whole Philly cheesesteak and some fries and some lemon pepper wings with some sauce, and I'll do that. And the thing about that particular movie, which I got everything that I wanted inside of the movie that I'm particularly talking about, which was the last installment of Black Panther. When I went in there and I got it, and I was sitting in the seats, and we organized it so that we pre-ordered our seats somehow. I don't know what the fuck that is, but I wanted to be in the back because I understood that because when I watched the last Avenger movie, I was up front, very front, and I made that mistake twice. I took my oldest two children when they were very young to Finding Nemo on ice. And that's where I learned that sometimes being close ain't the best idea, right? So, because we were right up on them, we could see the outfits, where we could also see their legs. And my sons were very young. They were like 3 and 4 years old, and they were scared because the fishes was right up on them. So the whole idea, I was wondering why it was like a little less, and then I found out it's a lot better to know where you need to be inside of that environment. So in this particular situation, I took my family and we went and we got in the back, you know what I'm saying, in the very top row. So we had that area, and it was actually a good spot. You know what I mean? It was not bad. You know what I mean? Wasn't nobody around us for real, which is what you really want. Let's just be honest. Nobody want to go to a movie and be right next to somebody. It's just not something you want to do. But if you have to be, you would hope to be around somebody that has some etiquette, but that's not. And I like to move. I'm not a sitter. Okay, I don't sit and just be chilling. Like if I go somewhere, I'm going to get up. I'm going to move. Like, I don't care what if it's a movie. Well, please expect me to get up and walk out of this spot at least 3 times. I don't care if I haven't seen the movie. I am not a sitter. Like, and as a matter of fact, This podcast is the longest I be sitting. Like, it's very complicated. I have to either be completely engaged or I have to completely remove myself from the environment multiple times. And you can psychoanalyze that as much as you want, but that is how I am. So I'm sitting there and I jump up. I'm talking about the Black Panther movie. So the latest one. So I jump up and I get out, go to the bathroom, sneak some vape, then come back. And I do that once and then I fall asleep. Now this is where I start to recognize that this is a bad movie. All right. To all of you who think that it was a great movie, you're going to have to, you got to find a way to convince me of that. This was a very terrible movie. And I'm talking about some old stuff. And please believe I'm going to bring it to a purpose in a couple minutes, but I have to talk about this because I haven't talked about it. It was a very bad movie. Okay. Unlike, A Woman King. I ain't gonna lie. Woman King was good. Like, people were telling me that it was bad. It was actually good. I watched it. I was like, yo, like the process of the movie, the way that the storyline. Oh my god, the story. I'm not gonna ruin nothing for nobody. But the storyline, yo, like, it was great. It was worth the while. It was worth something. Black Panther was a slight to black men, and I'm going to say that because I believe that that's true. Don't let these people fool you, ladies. Don't let these people fool you. And I know I'm talking to a lot more people than just black people, but as it pertains to that movie, don't let nobody fool you. You know what I'm saying? That's not your enemy. Like, y'all need to know that black men are not your enemy, man. Like, we're not, and we're not trying to be. I don't understand why the general concept is that there is a competition or a concept that needs to be fought for as it pertains to black men and black women. Stop that shit. Don't let these cats fool you into thinking we're in competition. We're not. And the only reason the person that would say that we are is because they want us in competition, because it's easier to divide people if they fight against each other. Like, that's just the easiest thing. So I digress from that. But that's what I believe the new Black Panther was. It doesn't seem that way in general. Like, it doesn't seem that way when you look at it. It doesn't seem that way when you're like, it doesn't even seem that way when you look at The Woman King. Like, there is a consistent concept. And even though I like the second movie, I've already said that, so that's off the table. But even though there is a concept, that there's empowerment there, there's also a bit of something that makes us worse. And I ain't saying there's a conspiracy theory. I'm just saying, look at the signs. Look at the signs. Look at what's going on. Just a little shot at you, just so you can see. Look at the signs. Don't just accept anything. And that's for everybody. Don't just accept everything. Look at the signs. There might be a possibility that some of the things that you are seeing are being created just so you can see them, because they know that if they say certain thing, or if something is said, it will be perceived a certain way, which might possibly put you in a position to where you would think a certain way. That's all I'm saying. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to naturally think that way or you're going to respond that specific way, but it does say something about the consistency of the intention of a person to make you think that way, even if you don't. But if you continue to see somebody do something or something or some entity say something that is consistent, there's a possibility that there's something that they're trying to achieve. And if you look at it and you're like, nah, but you're the only person that's saying nah, but 60% or 80% of the population is saying, oh yeah, that's what, yeah. There's a possibility you might want to think about it. Now, I digress from that conversation. I'll let it go. I think that movies are wonderful. That's one thing. You know, I have an older brother. I have an older brother. His name is Ronell. He is a lawyer, and he's also a sports fan. This guy looks at me like I am an alien because he loves sports. Now, see, I love sports, but see, I love playing sports, right? So I love sports in the sense that I love playing them. He loves watching them. Like, he's a diehard Cleveland Browns fan. And him and my grandpa, they're diehard Cleveland Browns fans. They'll take the L. They'll take the L. But they will root for him. I am not that guy. I play sports. I'm not going to say that I'm necessarily. I've boxed. I've fought competitively inside of martial arts. I've ran track. I've done water polo. I have played soccer, baseball, and basketball. I never played football, though. The point I'm trying to make is this. I like playing the sports, but maybe it's ADHD. I can't sit down and just be watching sports every day. I have to be actively doing something in order for something to make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm not involved in what I'm looking at, I will fall asleep in a second. Like, I have to be doing something physically, emotionally, mentally, sexually. I got to be doing something. But to sit for like hours, I can only watch one game per year. What game is that? Super Bowl. And the only reason I watch the Super Bowl is for I watch it for the halftime show. and the commercials are terrible, so I can't even watch it for that no more. I used to watch it for the commercials. Like, the commercials used to be good. You know what I'm saying? They used to have really funny commercials. Now it's just getting ridiculous. This season was terrible. And then I happened to have, I don't know how I was watching the Super Bowl, but when I was watching it, I must have done it on the wrong platform because they bypassed the whole halftime show and just popped back up. I literally tried my best to stay up to watch it because I was sleepy. And then they went straight past the halftime show and said, hey, well, you know, that halftime show, that's what was it, Michael Strahan? I don't know what his name was. The guy that was doing the TV show and then went back to navigating football games. When he went over and said hi to Rihanna or something. Then I didn't know Rihanna was pregnant the whole time. And then people had a whole big thing about her being pregnant, which was weird. Because I watched, after the fact, I went and watched Rihanna's halftime show that she did. And I ain't gonna lie, it was fire. Like, it was fire. Like, hey, because see, I've seen my wife pregnant. And I don't know if any of y'all ever had a wife that was doing the belly dance. You know, the belly dance when they pregnant and they be holding their belly and then doing a little dance. Yo, it's fucking funny to me. I love it. But She was out there. She was out there doing her thing, man. And the vocals was on point. The vocals on point. She was on point. Everything that she did made sense. It wasn't too much and it wasn't too little. It was right where you're supposed to be when you at least 2 to 3 months pregnant, which is what she was. Hey, I say, more power to you. Now that I can appreciate. I can appreciate somebody getting on stage to do all them songs, and then they orchestrating the time where she could actually sit down for a couple minutes and actually have a breath because she pregnant and she still look good when she doing what hey man, like I appreciate that, man. Like I thoroughly enjoyed that. I think the last one I enjoyed that much was the Bruno Mars Beyonce. Like that's my favorite one. Like that's the dance moves, and I mean, was it Maroon 5? I forget who it was. That's not the point. There was a third act in there, but they wasn't nothing like Beyonce coming out and then Bruno Mars coming in there with his crew. Like that was, I love that. And even the Dr. Dre one, you know what I'm saying? Like that was cool. You know what I'm saying? 50 Cent Upside Down. Oh, that was real good. I love those type of things, and I'm looking forward to what they do. But them commercials need to step their game up, man. Like I feel like they need to step they game up. I'm gonna use that for that was a lot of different tones there. I'm gonna probably use that later on. If you hear it again, just know where it came from. Anyway, that was really good. You know what I'm saying? And I think ultimately it's like people do their best on stage. I'm changing subjects, and that's fine with me. But as I'm changing subjects, I'm thinking that as it pertains to people performing, I think the biggest issue that was like recently mentioned was recently the Grammy winner, Sam Smith. I was going to bring in some information about the controversy that's going around this guy. And I know I'm switching subjects. So listen, so you guys know, there's a large possibility I might switch subjects. All right. So listen to one subject, listen to the other. Don't judge me. Well, you can if you want to. Honestly, it's your choice. But I think when I'm talking about performances and I'm talking about movies, I'm going to go back to the concept of the movies, okay? I try to be as on point as possible. I have a subject I want to talk about the movies, but I'm not really happy about it, so I'm going to take a little time and try to get into some fun stuff before I really touch on it. So I'll touch on it after this. As it pertains to Sam Smith, now I am a Sam Smith fan, okay? And I ain't saying like a fan like, hey, man, you made a song, good job. I'm saying that I will go in front of hundreds of people and sing songs by Sam Smith. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me try it. All right. So won't you stay with me? You're all okay, I'm sorry. It's terrible. I like to sing Sam Smith. Yo, motherfuckers like, yo. Okay, look. Okay, I run out of stop myself. I can't believe I'm trying to sing on the podcast. That's hilarious. Okay, look. All right. Okay. Hold on. Give me 5 seconds. I can't believe I just tried to do that. Okay. The point of the matter is, I love Sam Smith, yo. Like, he made so much good music. Now, I'm not gonna deny the fact that nigga blew up. You're gonna be like, you body shaming. Nah, nigga, that's an observation. God damn. Like, cause, like, listen, when my family see me and I'm 268 pounds, when they used to see me when I was 204 pounds, them niggas look at me and be like, yo, he bigger, but I can see his face. I mean, he look the same. Like, but they can see the difference. I'm like, listen, I deal with that. I'm working on it. God damn it. But so I can say that for myself. But let's not talk about Stay With Me, Sam Smith. The same motherfucker that was at this Grammy. Yo, don't act like that's the same nigga. That's not the same nigga. I swear for God. I was like, yo, and side note, what the fuck is Madonna doing? What the fuck is Madonna doing? Yeah, hey, Madonna out here, God damn. If you look at it before and after picture of Madonna, God damn, this bitch look fucked up. God. Yo, okay, if you ain't seen it, man, you gotta like, what? Who the fuck is that? That's it before her and Lil' Kim, them motherfuckers. They got some before and after pictures for your ass. Like, that shit is crazy. I'm talking about, man. Hey, man, that's another level. I ain't never seen a nigga go from what. That's Michael Jackson different. That is Michael Jackson, Jackson 5 to Michael Jackson Dangerous, like, type shit. Like, that shit is fucking, that's day and night, man. That shit's, hey, Madonna, oh my goodness, Madonna, god damn, Madonna looked like, fucking, hey, Madonna and Lil' Kim, they both look the same. Madonna and Lil' Kim look fucked up. Yo, they look fucked up the same. They look fucked up the same way. I swear to God. Go look at Lil' Kim when she first started. Then look at her now. And then look at Madonna when she first started. And look at her now. Yo, I swear to God. People be talking about Cher, and I don't know if y'all know who Cher is, but Cher, she progressed much better than these two motherfuckers. They just, oh my goodness, it's terrible. It's a sickness. It's just a drug, nigga. And at that point, I have to digress. I let it go. But I ain't gonna lie. When I why did the dude that became a broad that got an award with Sam Smith look more like a woman than Madonna? Yo, that shit's I'm sorry, that's hilarious. I don't give a fuck. Hey, I'm saying that's terrible. Yo, the dude looked like more of a female than Madonna. I don't know what Madonna is no more, but she keep her some young something on her. Hey, she was an adult and I was a child. Like, I remember watching her and being like, white bitch might not be that white bitch might not be that bad. Like, she was standing at the feet of a black Jesus. This is good. What was that? What was that video? It was a video where she was like, it wasn't Papa Don't Preach. It was something where she was like, the video was all about her. She was standing at the foot of Christ, and Christ was all black, and he had, it was at that time, it was like a prolific video, and I can't remember the name of it. It was so long ago. But the point of the matter is, goodness gracious, she looks like a different being. More power to her. Money can do those things. All right, so let's get to it. All right, because I know that I've missed a segment, and I'm trying to get more segments in here. So I want to start with some bad news. All right, but I promise you that after this bad news, then we will get into some more bad news. That doesn't help. That probably doesn't help. But this is what it is. It's the hook. You know what I'm saying? I can't just sit here and talk for hours and hours. I actually literally could. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about something that I don't want to talk about. So I'm going to allow these people I'm going to allow these people to say what they have to say, and then afterwards, I will talk about what I just heard. So please be willing to bear with me through this bad situation.
Ain't getting nowhere else. It's what's going on.
With me, Alexander the Great.
Holla at me. Content is key.
More breaking news this hour. The family of actor Bruce Willis is making a painful revelation about his health.
Yeah, Willis's wife revealed in an Instagram post that the actor's been diagnosed with something called frontotemporal dementia. It comes a year after the actor's family revealed he suffered from a different cognitive disease known as aphasia.
Let's bring in Dr. Kavita Desai now. She is a pharmacist and founder of a wellness brand focused on brain health. Kavita, in a statement released today, the Willis family said that challenges with communication are just one symptom of the disease Bruce faces. Help us understand what frontotemporal dementia is and how it affects the brain.
So it is a very rare type of dementia that affects the front part of the brain and the temporal part of the brain, which is the sides of the brain. And aphasia is one of the symptoms that you can have because the front of our brain is what controls our memory, our speech, all of our executive functions. So this is what Bruce Willis was presenting with.
So it sounds like you're saying maybe that first diagnosis of aphasia, was that inaccurate, or is it just these symptoms manifest differently and that made it seem confusing? Did he ever have aphasia?
Yeah, I think it was probably just an early symptom for him, which happens a lot with dementia because the symptoms can be slow to arise until a definitive diagnosis is made of dementia with an MRI or the right testing. We don't always know. So aphasia was not an inaccurate diagnosis. It was just the preliminary diagnosis to this final one.
So now that there appears to be a more final diagnosis, what treatment options are available for this type of dementia?
Sadly, as with all other types of dementia, there's no definitive treatment currently. There's only prevention that we can do with our lifestyle. So it's very sad for Bruce Willis.
Yeah, you mentioned prevention. I wanted to ask you about that. There are things that people can do that sort of help us and sort of enhance our brain health, right? In terms of trying to stave off dementia and Alzheimer's and such.
Correct. So in the case of frontotemporal dementia, it could be a head injury. So again, we want to always make sure we're practicing, safe practice in sports and avoiding head injuries, but also from a lifestyle standpoint for all dementias, it's eating clean organic foods, avoiding chemicals, improving sleep, reducing inflammation in the body. A lot of it comes from diet and lifestyle that we can do that can possibly reduce our risk of dementia.
So basically, Bruce Willis has a death sentence. This is Pulp Fiction Bruce Willis. This is Fifth Element Bruce Willis. You know, this is what was that movie? There are a bunch of movies that's got to be in it. I'm thinking about one other movie. Lethal Weapon, I think it is. Is it Lethal Weapon? No, it's not Lethal Weapon. This guy's been in multiple movies, and I'll be honest with you, I've loved him in every single one of them. Bruce Willis has been one of my favorite actors. His nonchalant acting combated with his ability to be physical is one of the biggest things that I've ever seen inside of the movie Atmosphere. And I believe, and I'm saying this as it pertains to, you know, diving into my my father's death, which was recently last year. His mind deteriorated, and it's not something that you can really gauge as it pertains to the situation until you're dealing with it. You know, everybody talks about that crazy uncle, and it's always, he's just that crazy uncle until you have to deal with the fact that he's actually lost his mind. Like, he's not functional. Like, if you talk to him, he's not going to be able to function on the level. I went from one day talking to my father and us just going back and forth, and him being like, man, I don't feel like being here and doing this, and I'm letting him just vent about the fact that he's somewhere he don't want to be, to where he can't have a conversation with me. That was harsh. So I don't know what the Willis family is dealing with as it pertains to these type of processes, because you're looking at somebody deteriorate in front of your eyes, and that's a big issue. So when I said I was bringing it back to something, I wanted to take my time with it, because it was not a good situation. This is what I was talking about. I don't know Bruce Willis. Never met him. Never seen him. I ain't walked down the street and be like, yo, Bruce Willis. I've never seen him. But when somebody is in your house, and when I see a Bruce Willis movie, regardless of if it was a box office hit or if it was just some movie that he did, I subscribe immediately. Like, I'm like, yo, but it's Bruce Willis. It's kind of like if I saw a Samuel L. Jackson movie. If it's in movie theaters or not, I'm still going to watch it because it's Samuel L. Jackson. Like, who wouldn't do that? That's me. Like I said, I love movies. And the thing that happens when you get older is you start to watch people deteriorate. People that you didn't even perceive to be capable of deteriorating, because in your mind, they're superheroes. I mean, he was in there was a trilogy. It was Glass. Was it Glass? He was with Samuel L. Jackson. He was in, I think it was Glass. One of them was Glass, and it was like 3 movies where Samuel L. Jackson played and you guys can talk about this in the comments if you're on YouTube or something like that. It was 3 movies, and one of them was Glass, and there was another 2, and I believe that. And if you haven't seen that trilogy of movies, you should watch those movies. I'm telling you, man. Like, if you watch them from an analytical perspective. Like, just watch them to see where the movie is going and how it's progressing and what it means. Those movies are, oh my goodness. There's a guy in there with 25 or something like that? It might be 17. It might have been less. But he had multiple personality disorder, but it was more than that. And one of those I don't even want to ruin it for you, but that movie was something different. And Bruce Willis played the hero. He was a hero, but he wasn't like a Spider-Man or a Superman. He was a regular man. He was the beginning of superheroes. Like, he just found out that he could do certain things. It was such a good process of movies. It was something special. While I'm doing this, I'm going to try to see if I can find out the information while I'm talking to y'all. So there was Glass, and then let's see. Oh, the series is called Unbreakable. So Unbreakable in general was the first movie. It was Bruce Willis against Samuel L. Jackson, right? And then they came out and then they made another movie. And the second movie seemed to be, what was it? They weren't all called Glass. I'm trying to figure out what the second movie was. Maybe they weren't all called Glass. So there were three. No, because there was no way they were all three called Glass. That's just craziness. And the guy, James McAvoy, I just watched him in The Last King of Scotland. Who he also played Professor X in inside of course, X-Men Origin. I mean, that was a while ago, but I'm just saying where he had been. So as I was seeing him, I was starting to notice that he was visible in a lot of scenes and a lot of things. But Glass movie, if you go to Glass, there's like Glass, and then there's a couple other movies that come along with it. There's Unbreakable, and then there's Split, and then there is Glass. So it's Unbreakable and Split and Glass. I think that is it. But that nonetheless, if you go into any one of those areas, you'll find all of those things. And I think the point I'm trying to make was, like, you can be relevant inside of an area and be something. You know what I'm saying? Like, as great as Bruce Willis was. And then your frontal lobe won't work, and then you can't speak or understand where you are and who people are, and it just happens. And I think the point of the matter of all that is, you have to understand where you are now, and you have to live in that space, because it can change at any particular portion. And I know that young people have a tendency to believe that life is forever. You know what I mean? But sometimes some of the decisions that you make, you're assuming that you're going to be around forever, but you might not be. You might want to pay attention to the smaller things, and it's hard because you want to live life. But when I look at somebody like Bruce Willis, don't mean nothing to nobody under 30 right now. 35, barely. So I mean, somebody that's 35 right now is like Bruce Willis. Who is that? Like somebody that's 30 might be like Bruce Willis. What? I don't understand who that is. Who's that old guy? But he's not old. And I mean, he's older than me, but that's not the point. People be fading all the time, man. And we spend a lot of time running around acting like certain things don't matter. But they do. They actually do. So I ain't gonna, drown y'all with that. As I look at that, I had a couple other things that I did want to talk about. So I wonder if I want to keep this for last. Nah, I'm gonna do the relationship first. So I'm gonna do relationship first. After that, I'm going to talk about something else, but I'm gonna let this happen first because it's a short clip and I just want to talk about it. So feel free to listen to this.
I think that I think it's the wrong road to go down. She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What are you talking? Wait.
That's not according to me.
Prime
so
for what?
It depends. I mean, it's just like prime. If you look it up, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. I don't necessarily.
40s. Oh, I got another.
I'm not saying
decade.
I agree with that. So I think she has to be careful.
Wow, dig yourself a hole there, son. Lemon had to apologize quickly on Twitter, saying, quote, "The reference I made to a woman's prime this morning was inartful, irrelevant, as colleagues and loved ones have pointed out, and I regret it. A woman's age doesn't define her either personally or professionally." By the way, Rachel, Don Lemon did not appear on his show this morning.
That was a real quick snippet of something that is completely irrelevant to me. It was just something I wanted to throw in there because it was recent. It was just something I wanted to say something about. I think that the reason why I added that, I didn't have to. I wasn't obligated to. Nobody said, "Hey, you need to talk about this." I wanted to bring it out. The reason why I wanted to bring it out because we have got to learn to allow people to articulate themselves. And we have to do that on all levels. The problem is that we only allow certain people to express themselves, and we try to suppress other people that say things, and we try to say, well, you are being blah, blah, blah. You're being anti-Semitic. You're being anti-alphabet. I'm going to say alphabet because I don't have time to try to correctly say what those things are. You're being anti this. You're being anti that. Free speech is free speech. Right? And I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time on this, but free speech is free speech. Suck it up and listen. I heard, and I'm listen. I'm a fan. I like Charleston White, like I do. I do because he'll say something. He said, they was like, well, how do you feel about this person saying nigger? And he was like, well, he a white person. They made the word. They can say it. And it changed my whole perspective. I was like, yeah, if we thought about it, if it affected us that much, we wouldn't say it. And if we didn't say it, and then they said it, then we can have a problem with it correctly. but we say it all the time. And then it just made sense. It just made sense to me. It was like, yo, you can't sit there and say, hey, you can't say it. But then when somebody says it in a song, when somebody talks about killing their own people, when somebody talks about ravaging the concept of marriage just so they can say they took your wife, when people do that, we applaud them. We need to get our house in order. On a whole, like we have to literally do that before we start walking around acting like we're supposed to be trying to police people that are saying things that we don't like. You can't say nigga, but you say it all the time. Either it's wrong or it's right. Now, this guy said something that he felt like he wanted to say. Is he canceled now? I do have one complication about this conversation that I heard, because I didn't know, because I wasn't really paying attention to this guy for real. But it was my understanding that he is a homosexual, meaning that, you know what I'm saying, he going to the one that stink, which is his choice. I believe that a person that is on that level of living that should not have opportunity to talk about what a woman is or what a man is. There are a lot of things that you can't communicate about, but just like I would not let a female who considers herself a man, dresses like a man, acts like a man, and does all the things she perceives a man to do, I want to allow her to have a conversation about what men are and what we ain't, because I don't care how you act like it. I can act like, look, all right. Shit. All right. I'm going to get canceled before I get verified. Look, let me tell you something. Yo, let me just say this. Listen. All right. So, how do I hit first? Okay. For the females out there, for the individuals who are saying that I feel like I am a man, let me tell you something. You're not. Okay? You're not. You can feel like a man, but you don't know what a man is. Vice versa. Men who feel like they females. You're not a female. Okay? And I think a female just got finished saying something that I think that more females should say. They were talking about how one male decided that, you know, he was talking about how he had what did you call that thing? OMG, or not OMG, goodness gracious. See, I don't even know. It was the, you know, the place the ladies go to see about they pussy, or, oh shoot, it's gonna mess me up. Maybe I'll block it if I find a way to do it. OBGYN or something like that. Wherever y'all go see about your stuff to make sure it's all working out, right? There is a guy who transitioned into a woman who had an OBGYN. Goodness, I hate these letters. They had one of those. And then a woman came on, like she came on TV. I forget her name and what channel it was, but she was like, yo, she was a white woman, but her the way she was acting was completely different. You would have thought she was a black woman. She was like, yeah, I don't I don't subscribe. She was like, I don't like the idea that men are getting or saying they got like they have somebody had to go to see, because what we deal with is not what you deal with. You know what I'm saying? Like when they dealing with things that are internal or you know what I'm saying, and they have to worry about the consequences of maybe making a wrong move or doing something different, they got to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? And that's a real actual problem. And then a dude come in and the most he got is a hole, and it's like it's a hole that's pre-made, and you don't have to deal with none of the stuff that a biological woman has to deal with. And this is where we need to go. This is where we need to be. This is the idea. The problem is, and I'm just going to go out and do it. All right, give me a second. I'm going to go ahead and say this. The problem is, enough of y'all women ain't saying nothing. Y'all allowing dudes to do that. Y'all not defending yourselves because y'all don't defend yourselves. The problem is that men defend women. Okay? So we normally defend women. But when you go off and somebody come in and watch them rob you of everything that you are. Watch other people come into your area and rob you of everything that you are. Everything that you can't even help. You can't help no period. You can't help them cramps. You can't help that what's that called? That the thing that happens when you stop having periods. You can't help none of that. You can't help childbirth. You can't help the pain that you have when you have it. You can't help none of that. But somebody came in and stole it from you. They stole it from you, and you clap, bravo them motherfuckers when they did it. Here we are. I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of hiding. Y'all let them come in and steal it from you and stand right next to you and steal your womanhood from you. Y'all let them come in there and act like they was y'all, dress like they was y'all, act like they could be you, and you let them do it. You let them rob you of everything that was your actual essence, and you didn't do nothing about it. You got demolished. Over the last couple of years, y'all been standing still and watching people rob you of your womanhood, and you ain't say nothing. Did nobody come try to? And we watch. Listen, I know women try to come in, they tried to dress like us. They tried to act like us. They tried to be us. They put on the strap and act like they was us. They ain't us. We real men don't never let nobody come around us and act like they us when we know damn well they ain't us. But y'all will shun us if we say something about what they doing. Y'all let them come around y'all and act like y'all, and y'all put them in y'all group. Oh, that's just my friend. Oh, he blah blah blah. Fill in the blanks. The standard is set where you set it at. Now they got this. They trying to get the same doctors you got. For what? And y'all ain't said nothing yet. I'm gonna lose this podcast before it's established. Y'all let them niggas come in and slight y'all. That's hilarious. Y'all let them come in and just take everything, right? Yeah, you let a cat come in, act like you, walk like you, talk like you, try to arch their back like you, try to put some stuff on the side so they can look like they can bear children like you. You let a nigga come in and steal you. You ain't say shit. And then you got the audacity to talk to men and be like, ain't no real men around here. Y'all ain't acting like real women. Y'all real women don't let nobody come over and act like they can act like you. Act like you? Act like you. You got eggs. You can produce a child. You gonna let a motherfucker that can't do that come through and just do what they do? Oh, fuck no. So don't come to men and be acting like we're doing something wrong. You ain't treat me like a real woman. You let niggas come through, act like women. Why the fuck was there a woman of the year that was a man that transitioned to a woman? Y'all ain't even fucking fighting for yourselves for real. You fighting against us. We love y'all. We trying our best to be there for you. How the fuck you let some dude come through, act like a woman, and be better at being a woman than you are? All this talk. How many women he got? How is he having sex with somebody else? You should be paying attention to the concept that there are men that are trying to take your place. Okay. Back to the point that I made over a fucking hour ago. There was a person next to Sam Smith that looked completely like a woman that was an actual fucking dude that just got a Grammy. The concept was divide and conquer. It was fucking simple. It's been fucking simple. And a majority of y'all, and I'm sorry, I love you to death. I love you to death, but y'all missing the point. Y'all gave them motherfuckers an option, an opportunity. Y'all didn't say, hey man, you ain't me. Don't come over here acting like me. Y'all didn't shun them. Y'all supported them. And that's what happens. When you don't look at a person eye to eye, face to face with actual love and say, hey, look, man, you, I'm me. We ain't get the best fucking lot in life, but you are you and I am me. I'm a woman, you're a man. That's what it is. And nobody wants to say it. Nobody wants to say that is what it is. Everybody wants to dance around the concept. Everybody wants to be verified, so they don't want to say anything that will put them in a situation where they can't get their check. Money is not more important than integrity or character. At some point in time, you gotta have that conversation. And what would happen if that was the concept? And I don't give a fuck. See, that's the difference between me and these other motherfuckers you might listen to. I don't care. I'll defend what I say, rather it be biblically, rather it be socially, rather it be mentally or emotionally. I can defend what I'm saying. I'm not that person. You can't come at me with no miscellaneous concepts and just type some shit and just get mad because you don't like what I said. I don't give a fuck. So just know that in general. Ladies, y'all are losing. And I love y'all and I want y'all to win. I love women. There's something about a woman that's just, it ain't even magical. That shit is mystical. That shit is unicornish. It's something different. It's just something. There's something about women that is out of this world. It's very hard to make, it's very hard to make what a woman is make sense. Because in my mind, I look at it and I be like, that's amazing. I just look at women. I just be like, it's amazing. I cannot fucking believe that exists in front of me. And I understand it because I'm like, that's for me. And it is hard. It's just be like, all right, we'll just concentrate on one, because I know you go out there and you see a lot, and but it's amazing. It's amazing what women are. And I have a problem with the concept that somebody that is not a woman would come into a woman's environment and just act like they're a woman, and the women won't say shit about it. Like, that shit is crazy. Because in my mind, if let's say, all right, I'll do some real ratchet shit. Let's see. Let's choose one. Let's say a donkey. It's a donkey, right? The donkey puts on a dress, right? And the donkey, like, the thing about a donkey that got the dress on is that the donkey got a dress on. That donkey got a big ass dick. Like, if you ain't ever seen a donkey's dick, they got some motherfucking, like, they got some, because they have to get up, and then that thing got to go up, and it's a completely different situation than men have. I ain't saying I'm small, I'm just saying they're long. So the idea, this donkey got a long dick, we got a dress on. It's like, yo, I identify as this. At what point do you say, motherfucker, nah? At what point? And I'm telling you, when and it's going to happen very soon for you people that haven't lived long enough to see things change. What's going to happen soon is the things that I'm saying right now are going to be norm. We're going to be literally walking around and being like, hey, doc, that don't work no more. I'll give you an example. Balenciaga, right? Balenciaga came out with this whole line, and y'all heard all the news. Y'all know what's going on with it, right? They haven't been completely banned, but consider the idea that these individuals were putting out I don't even know the name of it. These cats were out there sexualizing toddlers, right? And then we said, hey, there's a limit. Oh, but nobody was there. Very quiet. Nobody was there. Balenciaga was able to do that, and some people showed outrage, but there hasn't been a ban. There hasn't been a actual request for someone to step down. See, we pick and choose when we want to be political. We do that all the time. We got a constant, and I don't even mean we. I mean y'all. I'm just trying to, not even y'all. I'm just saying there are certain people that have the tendency to act like certain things are relevant and certain things aren't. Balenciaga bringing out S&M type concepts with toddlers is not a complicated situation. That should be a word, issue-ation. Anyway, but at the same time, you can let a child have whips and chains, and then you'll turn around and you'll tell R. Kelly, you got 30 years to go. You'll tell. See, the thing about it is that sin is sin. If it's wrong, it's wrong. You'll tell Bill Cosby, you got years to go. You got to fight, even though it's been years and years, and people probably was taking those pills for fun. Like, I ain't about to defend any of them. I am just saying that there's a large possibility that we have a tendency to say nay to things that are not to our benefit and the things that are for us as it pertains to what we like to wear, what we like to drive, and what we like to do. See, there are a lot of things that we could look at and we should be canceling, or we're not canceling them. Some things that we're not doing that we should be doing. And we're not saying anything about it. You know why we're not saying anything about it? Because it benefits us. So are we outraged, or are we just acting the part? It's very funny that when somebody says that they want to be outraged about something, it's very rare that we find out the actual individual that started that outrage. The actual person is just somebody within the LGBTQ community plus or whatever the hell y'all added by this week. It's very funny that you can say something and then a miscellaneous motherfucker can come out and say something about it, and then all of a sudden don't nobody know who said what, but we know that there was outrage. Hell, I could even find out who specifically had outrage about the dude I was talking about before. Was stay with me guy until I figure out his name. But it's very funny. We got a lot of fucking nerves running around and acting like we got something to say, but ain't saying who said it. You motherfucking fucks. Y'all got a lot of nerves running around. And I don't have a problem saying what I say, and I ain't saying I'm some type of advocate or some type of big person, but I'll take my L's, nigga. I've taken lumps all my life. I'll take an L. I'll fight. I'll take a bullet. If it gotta be what it gotta be, it's gotta be what it's gotta be. But I'll be damned if I sit there and let y'all go around and just sneak and throw stuff out and then hide in the background like, yo, it wasn't me. You motherfuckers. That's dangerous, man. Sheesh. That's just. I'm just saying it's a bit of a problem. But I'm gonna let this last. I'm dedicating this last conversation that I'm gonna have, and I'm gonna do some in between. Goodness gracious, I'm going over. All right, I'm gonna do this because I enjoyed this conversation so much. I enjoyed the conversation so much that I broke it up. There's a possibility that this might be a part or a two-part series as it pertains to this conversation in general. I might not get all through it, but I feel like it's something that I might be able to expand on. And the reason why I want to expand on it is because I believe that there are so many jewels inside of this conversation. I want to expand on it. I really, really want to expand on it. So I'm going to do that. And I don't know, man. I think that let me close out that last concept because I feel like I need to. Let me close it out. I don't judge nobody. How I stutter? I'm stuttering because I'm actually trying to do two things at once. I'm trying to expand this area that I'm going to be in, and I'm trying to talk at the same time. So let me do both things at once. That's why I'm stuttering. I don't like stuttering, and I don't like saying Anytime I say that, I heard there's like a teacher that I had when I was very young, and they were like, when you're speaking, please avoid saying the word I was like, okay. Okay. But then I recognized that it was like, yo, you should be so preemptive that the word should not be in your vocabulary in a lot of senses, but I digress. Anyway, okay, I'm going way over my normal time. I'm hoping to have, I want to have more people. When I move to my next location, my intention is to be able to have people come in and having conversations and having other individuals, artists, comedians, and all type of people come in and just have conversations with them So I'm just really prepping you for how I talk, and then you'll get some new people to talk to you later on. But anybody that's listening to this right now, at this particular point in the podcast, I want to say that I really appreciate you even sticking with me this long. That's a long time to listen to them. That's a long time to listen to a motherfucker. I mean, I'll just be honest with you. But I appreciate you. And I'm going to go into this. This is another segment. I've separated this and cut it up so I wouldn't have to do everything at once. But I wanted you to listen to this first part. And this is not, dang it, I didn't do the relationship. No, I did. I don't really think that the Don Lemon thing was like a relationship. I felt like it was just, what was it? I don't really know I'm sorry, my bad. I don't really know if it was like necessarily a relationship issue. Him speaking about women it was just his thought. And I think no matter, whenever I hear things like that, I always think free speech, your ability to have your concept and your thought about anything. So if I'm going to say anything about the relationship, I'm just saying that people can have their own thoughts, man. Like, and the liberation, like when women talk women liberation and their ability to have these thoughts and have that thought, well, then that goes the same for the LGBTQ whatever community. Yo, man, if you want to be a part of it, y'all want to be a part of this community, a part of this culture, a part of this world, be willing to hear people say something that you don't like. That's how you get comfortable. That's how you know you're a part of this community or this world, is when you're willing to listen to people say things that you don't necessarily agree with. That's part of the environment. Some people don't like Democrats. Some people don't like Republicans. Some people don't like black people. Some people don't like white people. Asian people, blah, blah, blah. Native people, they got a problem with everybody. The way you know that you as close as you can be to equal is people talking about you and you saying, well, I don't give a fuck. It's just me. I can't change. And the thing about it is you can act like you're not the things that you say that you are. We've been doing this for years. I can't change my color, man. I can't turn white per day. I am black every time I walk out the house. There's nothing in me that can, because it's a sexual, and here we go again. It's a sexual orientation as opposed to me being a skin color. You can't debate and you can't walk a mile in these shoes. Stop doing that. Stop assuming that you are me. You're not. I know what it looked like for somebody to see me, not see me in a fucking wig or see me not really looking like a woman, but I don't give a fuck what it is. I walk out the fucking building and whether I got a mask on or a hoodie on or a skull cap on or a hat on, no matter how it look, my skin tone is brown, and even the skin is brown. It's light brown. I can't even change that, and I'm still considered black. I'm still considered black. And I have black things in my face, right? My microphone is black. I am brown. And I'm still considered black. Struggle. Shut the fuck up. I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck if you can't cancel something that ain't got nothing. Shut the fuck up. Okay? Stop that bullshit. Your struggle's not my struggle. It's not. Because you can hide your sexual orientation, but you cannot hide the skin tone that you were born in. You cannot hide the fact that you were brung into a country, enslaved for over 400 years. You can't do that. Stop fucking, I'm sorry, I'm just side note. Stop doing that bullshit, man. I'm tired of that. And I'm telling you, the general public is tired of that shit. So stop that bullshit. Your sexual preference is your sexual preference. And if you stop being so visual about it and making everybody try to see you as being your sexual preference, nobody gives a fuck what you do in your hiding place or in your privacy. Okay? Be a good human being in public, and when you go home, do whatever the fuck you want to do. That's your home. We don't go outside and be like, "Oh, look, I'm a heterosexual." Stop that bullshit, man. Just be who you are. Be a good person in public and do like everybody else do. You want to be like everybody else? You want the same rights as everybody else? You want to have the same abilities as everybody else? Then stop talking shit in public. Just go in your house, do what you do personally, and when you're in public, be a nice person to people. And if the subject come up, which it won't, because I ain't never been asked, "Hey, you like fucking pussies or asshole?" No one asked that shit. You guys bring it up for no fucking reason. You try to make your sexual preference visible, and it doesn't make sense because this world is not built. And then y'all made the mistake of going as far as trying to indoctrinate the fucking school system. That's where you fucked up, and that's why you're gonna have a problem. That's where the kickback come in. That's where people who are just logical, even your own people, won't let you do that shit. So you trying to get yourself really entwined inside of the children environment? Yeah, so now we know what's going on. Be careful. Be very fucking careful. I'm sorry. It's late. But I'm not lying though, man. That's not something you can do. You gotta watch what the fuck you do, man. Because when you walking around, all right, I'm gonna wait a little bit before I get into this other segment. But I don't give a fuck, man. Yeah, you can't cancel what ain't been established. So I don't give a fuck. But let it be known. Don't walk around thinking that we ain't seeing how motherfuckers is trying to wean themselves in elementary schools and pre-K schools and junior high schools and high schools. Niggas, we see y'all. And I'm telling you, you will find out what the fuck it really is. Because what we don't want, I don't give a fuck what an adult do with their personal life. But if you keep trying to put your motherfucking self inside of children and you try to make yourself visible to children because you want to make yourself visible to children so that if you try to push your agenda on them, I and every motherfucking parent I know will show you what it means to be oppressed. I want to let you know this. And if this is the last podcast I put out, if you go for the children, we will come for you. Husbands and wives, men and women, we will come for you. And I promise you, you won't win that war. If you try to indoctrinate our children who do not need to be talked to about the type of things that you're doing in your fucking personal space, if you come for them, we will come for you. And we don't have a problem with it. Listen, we'll die on that hill. Are you willing to die on that hill? Are you really want to get to the children that bad? Let's find out who really gives a fuck about the children. Because see, personally, I give a fuck about the children. I know that because I got children. And see, my mind says they don't need to be thinking about that. I'm still trying to fight to keep them off of certain programs that would give them that type of access so they can have a childhood. And then you come in and try to make sure, or these people or this type of structure comes in and tries to make sure that they have the access to the knowledge of something that a fucking 11-year-old doesn't need access to. Keep digging and watch what the fuck happens. I promise you, it's not going to end the way you think it's going to end. There will be a battle. Because if it comes down to the children and the future, you're not going to win this one. I don't give a fuck how many movies you make, how many cartoons you try to put up. I don't give a fuck how many books you put inside. You're not going to win this one. Because logic will win and your sexual preference is going to fucking lose. So know this. If anybody said it, Lee Alexander the Great said it. You're not going to win this war. And I guess that's what I'm saying. It'll be the last time I say anything about this shit. But know this, you're not going to win this war. If you come for our children, if you, I ain't saying y'all all pedophiles, but if I was going to children and being sexual towards them as a heterosexual, you would call it pedophilia. And then if you come to them and bring them a sexual preference at a young age, all of a sudden it's just them having knowledge. No, bullshit. It's the same thing. Don't do it. I'm just warning you. I don't give a fuck if you motherfuckers hear this. This is February 20th, 2023 at 4:42 a.m. Eastern Time. If you keep coming for us and our children, if you motherfuckers keep trying to push your agenda on children, we will come for you. We gonna see you, homie. There ain't no way around it. The same way we won't let a pedophile walk through the doors and just mind their business while they just picking out children is the same way we not gonna let people just come around and try to push their agenda on children who don't need that. They need childhoods. They need a chance to grow. They need to learn mathematics and science. They don't need to learn about sexual preference at the age of 8. What the fuck is wrong with you? I'm sorry. That's it. Hey, man, listen, I don't give a fuck if nobody listen to me after this. Don't do that bullshit unless you want to see somebody. And I can guarantee you, if you come around this area, you're going to get what you need. You're going to find out what you need, but it's not going to be what you want. I digress. And I don't have a problem with what you do in your personal life. So let that be known. I'm not judging you. Don't bring it to the children, though. Let them be children. You want to be an adult, make your own decisions, make your own fucking decisions. But don't come around and try to wean it into the curriculum in school. Like, stop that shit. And a matter of fact, if you are inside of that community and you know about that shit, you should be fighting to stop that shit because you know it's wrong. If you allow it to happen just because you on that side of the fence and you know it's wrong, you part of the fucking problem. You know that children don't need to be seeing that shit or hearing that shit or being indoctrinated into that shit. If you so-called born that way, then no matter whether you heard it between K and 12, it should be relevant regardless. Why do you need to try to push somebody to that? I digress. I let it be. Speaking of things that are pushed. Oh my goodness. Sometimes my transition is so cold. All right. Check it out. All right. Hold on. All right. Look. Appreciate me. Look. All right. Check it out. All right. So, goodness gracious. Charleston White. This nigga, this man is wild. Wildly accurate. So-called. Like, I thought this guy was crazy, but it turns out this guy he might not be as crazy as I thought. He said a couple things that made me be like, Yeah, I understand. That makes sense. But that's cool. So I wanted to. This is the Charleston White section. This is the Charleston White section because you know what? I can't let good information go. I can't let it go. So I'm gonna let this guy speak, and then I'm gonna talk about a piece of it, a couple pieces of it, and then I'm gonna probably progress from there. Let's go.
We see all this promised land above us, so much opportunity above us, but as a culture, no matter what we do, we only going to get so far.
No, we ain't got no glass ceiling. How we see it, and we've been here, and we done had every opportunity to get it. How the Mexicans come here, and they got all the big trucks, and they got the land. We was here for them.
But it kind of makes sense, right? Like, I look at myself, right? My mother, 71 years old. She never went to an integrated high school. So I'm 37, and I'm only one generation from Jim Crow.
Yeah, they had land though. Grandmama and mama and them had land.
Facts.
We forfeited the land.
Got you.
Yeah, see, we didn't pay the taxes, and we didn't want to stay in the country. We didn't want to stay in the rural areas. So we had land.
Yeah.
All this land here used to be niggas.
Right.
We used to have tractors. We used to have cows. We used to have chickens. We used to have everything the Mexicans got.
So I know for certain, as it pertains to a personal fact, that we have had land and we've had spaces, and we didn't perceive those spaces to be important because they weren't in an area that we thought that we needed to be, but we didn't know what it meant to hold down a specific area. My grandfather had a farm, and we had a lot of land inside of the land I was born in, Cleveland, Ohio, and we let a lot of that land go. We didn't pay the property taxes. We didn't consider it we didn't get together and say, hey, yeah, we can't lose this. Some of our family did get together and try to grasp some other spaces, but the problem with it all was that we didn't pay attention to the importance of owning land and what it meant to have space and, build on that. We wanted to be in the city. We wanted to have things, but the things that we wanted to have weren't things that we could pass down, weren't things that would make us self-sufficient. That was a very big problem. And it has been a very big problem for the last 2 generations. And now I believe that through the process of us going through the pandemic and us dealing with I guess depression, or not depression, but whatever it was that we dealt with when we didn't have enough, or we didn't have enough money, or there was an increase inside of the things we wanted to buy, whatever you call that. As we dealt with those processes, we started looking back and saying, you know what, it would have been better if we could make, I bet you right now you wish you had land with some eggs so you didn't have to go and pay $22 for a bundle of eggs. I bet you wish that you had some chickens so that you didn't have to pay all the money you have to pay right now for chicken. It's something that we have to learn. And so now, even in my mindset, it's all about growing a place that will help my future generations to sustain themselves. And that comes with learning how to do things like farm. I mean, you can spend a whole bunch of money and have a big house, but what does that matter if you can't even feed yourself? If you don't know how to grow plants, if you don't know how to raise and utilize cattle and things of that nature, what does that matter? If you can't farm, how do you survive? I mean, yeah, you can make it, and I understand it, and people take pride in it. People take a lot of pride in their ability to be like, well, I don't know how to fix the stuff in my house, but I got enough money to have somebody come do it. How long is that going to be sustainable for you? It looked good in general. It's a nice concept because you're saying I can buy it. But can you do it? When I have a problem in my house as it pertains to things breaking down, because things do, they break down, I find a way to fix it. The go-to is not who can fix it. It's how can I fix it? How can I fix this? And I'm not a master at any of these things. But when something happens, my first mindset is not to say, I got enough money to go ahead and have somebody else fix it. I say, I got enough money to get the parts and just replace that shit. Sustainability is not the same as it's lazy living. Listen, I don't mind the concept that you have enough to pay somebody to do it. But in life, I don't believe that it's better for you to say, I'll have somebody else to do it. I believe that it's better for you to say, oh, well, that's the problem. I'll just fix it. That's what makes a man. A man is known by how he can go down the road and find out what he needs to find out to make that road as comfortable as possible for the people that he cares about. Anybody can say, come and fix it. And I'd say this to the man. Think about what you're saying. Now, there are certain things you can't fix. If I have a septic tank issue, I cannot suck all of that crap out of that septic tank and put it somewhere. I probably could. But normally, not something I want to do. That's something that somebody else needs to do because they have the capability of taking care of that and removing that without me having an actual problem in my area. If you have a house and you dealt with that, then you know what I mean. That's just one thing you can't do. I can't replace engines. I know how to, but I'm good. You can do that. And I'm sure that they will say that, hey, well, there are certain things I'm just like, I don't know how to do that. I'm good. But there's a level. There are certain things, replacing an engine will require me being able to lift the whole engine out, take it out, put another engine in. And if you've ever seen an engine replaced, you know what I mean. The things that I'm saying that I can't do are things that require an expertise in. Like it takes somebody that understands how to do something. And some things you have to defer to a professional for. But there are certain things that if you just look it up, you might find out that you can do those things. And the more that you can do, the more money you save, the better you feel. I don't pride myself in spending money. I pride myself in my ability to take on the tasks that I need to take on so that I can provide for my family, because that's my goal, is to provide and protect. And providing means that I need to sometimes go outside of my logic or what I'm normally used to and make some things happen. Now, what I believe that Charleston White was saying when he was talking about the difference between then and now as it pertains to how we moved and how we moved then and how we move now, I just believe that we have to get back to that concept. We have to get back to that thought process. We have to get back to that area where we start saying, I don't care about the city living because I'm richer when I'm raising these cows, when I'm raising these horses, or when I'm raising these chickens or these pigs. All these, like when I'm living a life where I'm self-sustainable. When the money that I get from raising and selling these animals pays for the taxes that I pay on my land, and I don't have to work for anybody, I just sustain myself. That's a big thing. I think that's a big thing. I think that's something that we should be thinking about. And I believe that ultimately, when we decide that these things are important, like when we decide that these things are actually important, I believe that we'll see the true capability of who we are. But the assumption is, and I believe that what you'll hear, I think I'm gonna throw this out in a couple seconds, is that their assumption was that we need, you know what? Let me just I'm gonna let this second one play, and then I ain't gonna take all of your day, but I'm just want to let the second one play real quick.
Cause I seen somebody brought the analogy at one time that when you look at Mexicans or Hispanics or Cubans, you can even say Haitians or Jamaicans and Africans, every other ethnicity that came here on their own, a few was able to come here, get established, bring the rest, they move in together, they build their own communities because it was by choice that they came here. But as you say, the nigger nation was snatched and robbed and brought here. And then, you enslaved 400 years, white people were able to get free labor. So, of course, they're going to be ahead. And then once they say, okay, we quote unquote free, you free with no assets. So you really building up from complete zero in 3 generations.
But check this out. You have to go back to the Reconstruction era, before when they was building the railroads in America.
Okay.
Black people thrive more than anybody. 1900s, 1910s, 1920s, black people, the black was vibrant. They had suits. They built Black Wall Street. They had Rosewood in Florida.
Yeah.
We had Jones Street, 9th Street, downtown Fort Worth. So many black places. Detroit, black people was vibrant, right?
Mm-hmm.
During the right after the Reconstruction era. Start thinking about. We started wanting to migrate from the rural areas where we had land and we was thriving to these new developed places that they was building, cities.
Got you.
Right? So we started going to the big cities, getting away from our roots where we was from. So our family members started following us, whoever went to the military, right? So we started forfeiting our land. We stopped wanting to wear coveralls, driving a tractor. We start conking our hair. Remember, we started conking our hair. We started wearing zoot suits. The jazz era. We stopped wanting to be country boys. We stopped wanting to work on the farm. Remember, we used to be construction men. We start wanting to be fly guys. So it ain't like we didn't have opportunity in this land and opportunity. We start wanting color televisions. We start wanting Cadillacs.
Mm-hmm.
We stopped wanting chickens.
So I think the ultimate concept of this particular reality that I'm talking about is that in general, what I believe he's saying and what I'm hearing and what I believe is that we've taken the opportunity to be inside of an environment that is contrary to our vibrant existence. We've put ourselves in an environment where we want to be something that is contrary to the very existence that we need to be in. We're setting ourselves up for failure in some form or fashion or another. How do you progress from that is the question, because it's easy to say what the problem is. The question is, how do you bypass that? Well, we've spoken about it on multiple levels. We've said a lot of things about what we could do smallly. We will say, don't wear this, don't do that, don't say that. But in actuality, the ultimate concept is we need to start saying, this is what we are. And that's the only thing we have not said. The thing that we have not spoken inside of our environment is that this is what we are. What are we? We are people who can live off the land. We can function inside of society, inside of our area. And if farming was as progressive or as dominant as something like being a rapper or a basketball player or a football player or a sports player, if those things were as prominent or as prominent, I just said as prominent, if they were as prominent as being a farmer, as being someone who owned land, the very thing that we're fighting for, if we started being that, then it would change everything. It would change everything because we would put, and this is not even just for black people. This is for everybody. We're fighting to be, look at the houses that you look for and you want to, you subscribe yourself to want to have. Most of those houses don't have space outside. They don't give you the opportunity to grow plants and have animals. And most of those places don't even have the ability to, you don't have the spaces you need. You live in a nice house. It's brand new, but you ain't got no space. And you ain't thinking about building anything. You're not thinking about being self-sufficient. They're putting you in housing that makes you not want to be self-sufficient because they want you to go to the grocery store. What happens if the grocery store shuts down? The idea is that it might be a possibility that if you look at what our grandfathers and grandmothers and great-grandfathers and great-grandmothers did when they were trying their best to have fruits and vegetables and grow their own vegetables and fruits, and if they had animals and they were trying to do that, that was the beginning. We're trying to build us.
We started wanting to migrate from the rural areas where we had land and we was thriving to these new developed places that they were building cities. Right? So we started.
I'm sorry if you heard that, but that is actually where I'm going. Idea is this. It's time for us to start building our own environments. It's time for the baller to not be seen by how many cars, shoes, or chains he has, to be how many cows, and pigs and chickens he has, how big his farm is. That's baller. That's baller. That's balling. It ain't about how clean you is. It's about what you've established for your people. I think Rick Ross is one of the, Rick Ross, Dave Chappelle, all the individuals who, instead of getting a house as close to the public as possible, those individuals who grab land, people who get areas and put themselves in positions where they can grow and actually grow things because they got space, because they understood what it meant to buy land. Those are the things that make people important. I don't care about your shoes. Shoes are shoes. They get dirty. You can clean them, but they still shoes. Your clothes don't matter. Your car depreciates. Now, a house that has animals on it, you can get, even Trump knew. He buried his ex-wife on his golf course because he knew that there was going to be a deduction for that. I believe that all Americans need to go back to finding a way to get in. They don't even cost that much. We got to get out. As far as you can move out from the city, get there. And the city will come to you. Because if you move far out, if everybody moves far out, the businesses will come to you. The Walmarts and the Targets and all of the companies that need your business, they will move themselves out into those areas. Believe me, it'll come out there. They should be moving out towards us. We should not be moving towards them. No matter what the company is. And I'll move into what I think is the moment is in, which I think this is the moment is in. We have to find a way to bring businesses to us, to bring people to us, to establish land, to gain ground. And it's not going to be easy because you're going to put yourself in a place where you can't go to the next club real quick. You can't go to the local store real quick. Ain't going to be no gas stations. Ain't going to be no liquor stores. Ain't going to be nothing. But you have space. And you can learn how to farm. And you can learn how to live in that environment. But I believe that's better than depending on something that you can't depend on. And that's something that we all have to learn. You've got to learn how to be self-sufficient, because that is what living is. If you spend your whole life depending on everyone around you, you depend on your local restaurant, depend on your local gas station, you depend on everything around you. Whenever those things shut down or they can't provide you with those things, what are you? When you can't get chicken and you don't know how to grow, raise, or cut a chicken up, what are you? You're not self-sufficient. And I'm starting to learn that. I'm starting to learn that. I didn't know that, but I'm starting to get it. And what I want is, as I'm learning and I'm starting to see the logic inside of the idea of being self-sufficient, I'm just going to keep saying that it's probably better that you understand that. Because the world as you know it is not always going to be, man. And if you assuming that it is, then you ain't pay attention to history. It's logical that the concept of our reality has got to change. Are you willing to change with it? If you are, there's information out there. Get it before it's gone. Use it while you can. You can watch the next fight video of two broads sitting in front of a club having a problem, or you can watch the next idea on how to raise animals and utilize them to your benefit. You don't need a lottery. You just need an opportunity and a mindset that'll put you in that area where you can grow something and build something and find yourself to be self-sufficient. You don't need to necessarily work for nobody. You have a plan. Eventually, you won't have to work for anybody because you'll be self-sufficient. I promise you, it's possible. People are doing it every day. And that is your moment of zen. And I guess in the long run, the only reason I said this was because I love you. Hey everybody, it's your boy Lee Alexander the Great, and I hope you enjoyed yourself. I did too, but just wanted to stop by to let you know, don't forget to go to thehookpc@gmail.com. That is thehookpc@gmail.com to send in those emails and send in those questions and those comments and concerns. If you have something that you want to speak about from today, I'll backtrack a little bit just to make sure we get it all in together now. So until then, again, I say be great and I love you.